There's no sugarcoating it. This was a disaster. Being told that Mira is dead, being utterly destroyed psychologically speaking. Mira died because I wasn't enough of a leader. Fujisawa is staring death in the face. And the irony of it all is that this is far from the worst possible outcome. At least Fujisawa is alive. Right now that's the only thing giving me the strength to go on. I want to see you smile, full of life. If only you could wake up now. Most of my thoughts are full of ideas like that, despite my awareness of how selfish I sound. Her survival might be good news, but it's still a reminder of the accident. I can't think of it without remembering the tragedy that caused our squad's morale to hit rock bottom. Instructor Jinguji went too far. It's not like her argument was wrong, but she should have been satisfied with harassing just me and Takamiya. The rest of the cadets loved Mira. Fujisawa was intimate with the most critical and unhappy among us. Did Instructor Jinguji need to denounce them both? She spurred their anger in order to encourage their heartbroken cadets to move on. I get that. No matter her intentions, though, it's not going to work. Trying to turn the rest of us against her like that isn't going to end well. I mean, there are plenty of if-onlys we could throw out there, but... It's no wonder Takamiya blames herself. Mira thanked her as she was rushing to help Fujisawa. That was the last time they spoke. However, you're supposed to master the basics before you begin to improvise. This accident made the point all too clear. I mean, yeah. Wow. Especially when the whole time she was questioning whether or not she should do it. She's saying, no, I definitely should not be doing this. I should not okay this. But when when all three of them were like, yeah, no, it's the plan. We gotta go with the plan. We gotta go with the plan. She gave in. And to avoid burdening the people I love with another tragedy like this. Oof, she's not gonna want to hear that now. You're just shifting the blame on her, Takamiya. That's exactly what Instructor Jinguji wants.
少しでも神宮寺がいい人なんじゃないかなって思って、やっぱりあいつは冷酷な戦闘マシーンなんだ。大陸でもああやってあの人を切り捨てたんだ。
At moments like this, I hate myself for not being willing to go along, even if it would only be for her sake. Keeping my thoughts to myself is incredibly taxing.
ねえ、なんで黙ってるの、イスミ。あんたは違うよね、イスミ。
I will play the role I'm given. I won't go against my core beliefs. I won't lie, even if doing so would help Takamiya cope. Should I lie to her now? Should I lie to her now, it will hurt all the more once she finds out. I'm sick of hurting people with lies. I can't do it anymore. What I have to do now is tell her the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. I wish I could keep my emotions in check like Instructor Jinguji does. I want to be like her. I want her unwavering devotion to a single purpose. I want that strength that she has to shoulder, her responsibilities no matter the cost.
イスミ、ねえ、違うって言ってよ。
All things considered, Instructor Jinguji and I are different in several aspects. That does not mean I can completely disregard any similarities we might have, though.
お願いだから違うって言ってよ、イスミ。
おい、ちょっといいか。C 分隊の佐久間だ。いすみ、竹宮、入っていいか。
No. We're having a moment. I don't feel like inviting someone in, but honestly, Sakuma came at the right time. Takamiya was going to keep pressing me for answers. In the end, she would have ended up being hurt even worse. Compared to that, having rumors of me being a cold-hearted bitch spread around is not a big deal. Wait, he's with Karina? I have a bad feeling about this.
悪いな、こんな時に。
あんたたちが二人揃ってくるなんて。
各分隊長を代表してお前たちに話をしに来た。
ああ、そういうことだ。
Sakuma and Karina are never stop quarreling. Having them come talk to us together is a rare occurrence.
結論から言おう。俺たちは今から神宮寺に文句を言いに行く。
Figured as much.
俺たちは志願した以上、軍の訓練が厳しいことは重々覚悟してる。だが、この訓練校は異常だ。
何？
俺は上の兄貴二人が帝国軍人だからわかるが、この訓練校のカリキュラムはひどすぎる。いくら大陸の状況が切迫してるって言ってもな。
ああ、別の訓練校に行った地元の連れの話を聞いたんだが、どうさっぴいて聞いても、よそはここより人道的だ。
まさに教官も言っていたが、ただ人材を潰すだけが目的と受け取れる節がある。あれは俺たちを鼓舞する方便じゃない。
佐久間が確信って。
行幸新聞にいる連れにいろいろ調べてもらったんだが、ここの方針とカリキュラムの決定は校長たちじゃなく神宮。しかも神宮寺はかなり上のお偉いさんに直のコネがあって、そいつに頼んで前線から引き上げてもらったって話だぜ。
つまり逃げてきたってこと？
そこまではわかんねえけどよ。例の噂、神宮寺は味方を見捨てて逃げ回ってたから生き延びたって。
Like that rumor just seems stupid, even from people with no knowledge of it. Like, you don't get to be someone like Marimo by just running away from everything. Even having no knowledge, even not having the knowledge that, you know, I have from all the shit I've seen across all these stories. It's like you don't get to be someone like Marimo by just running away from all your problems. Nuh-uh.
なんで急にそこまで調べられるのよ。
前に食品ルートをぶっ潰された時から洗ってたんだよ。なんか役に立つ情報はないかってな。
でもあの件は誰も処分されなかったはずだけど。
こっちの収入は確実に減ってんだよ。だいたい誰も処分されないなんて逆におかしいだろ。
Karino wants some payback. That's his angle. What happened to Fujisawa gives him the perfect opportunity. But him having contacts inside the country's most important left-wing newspaper, one that's frequently critical of the military and the government, it's coming totally out of nowhere.
なんか話がそれてない。結局何が言っ。
ああ、つまりだな。ここの異常さは帝国軍の規定じゃなく、神宮寺教官の勝手な暴走だってことが言いたいんだ。
They don't know that Yuko has a plan in it, because the whole reason that Marimo got pulled was because Yuko wanted it that way. But they don't know about Yuko.
てめえが逃げ帰ってきたもんだから、身代わりに少しでも優秀な絵師を送り出して、そのお偉いさんに見捨てられないようにしたいんじゃねえのか？
No, this doesn't make any sense. Sakuma's so dense he doesn't notice. It's obvious Kadano wants to pin something down on Instructor Jinguji, whatever it may be. Assuming he's trying to set her up, the whole process of gathering evidence is merely a farce to get more people to join his crusade. I don't think Kadano is too concerned with due process either, so his actions make sense. But I expected Sakuma to be different. Does he even care for evidence, or is he only trying to confirm what he already believes? It's a convenient rumor, to be sure, more so when everybody is overwhelmed by their own insecurities, gives people a common enemy, lets them cling on to something.
もしそれが本当だとしたら、三浦がそんな異常な演習で。
This is bad. Takumi and Sakuma are completely on Kadano's side. Jinguji is the common enemy now. Her plan was a success far beyond her expectations. And the fact both Miura and Fujisawa were so popular only makes things worse. Miura was practically the school's mascot. Everybody liked her. Fujisawa was always willing to lend an ear to anybody who needed to vent. And Instructor Jinguji tore down their reputation in a matter of minutes. Of course people wouldn't take this lightly. What if I point out the contradictions? Can I make them come to their senses?
憶測はともかく、ここの訓練規定がよそと比べて異常なのは確かだ。兄貴たちに他校規定を調べてもらって裏は取れている。俺たちはこれ以上教官の横暴に付き合う気はない。これは全分隊長の総意だ。
No, you're all gonna get fucking kicked then. Like,
つまり第16英士訓練隊全員の意志ってことだ。お前たち以外のな。
三浦と藤沢の所属分隊の当事者としてできればお前たちにも賛同してほしい。そしてもし賛同してくれるなら泉。
泉、お前だって悔しいだろ。あのバーバー、てめえで事故に絡んでおいてあの言い草だぞ。あいつ三浦と藤沢の親に同じセリフが言えるのかってんだよ。
一つ聞いていい？
なんだ、一つと言わず何でも。
ただ抗議するだけで終わりなんてつもりはないのよね。
さすが泉だぜ、分かってらっしゃる。
教官が要求を拒んだ場合、実力行使も仕方がないと。
oh, you're gonna eat your asses beat.
実力行使って。
気は進まないが、ハリノのコネクションをフル動員してもらうつもりだ。
今回の事故は神宮寺の星にとってかなりのダメージになるはずだ。大騒動にして世間の注目を集めりゃマスコミも食いつく。
That's the thing, y'all don't know about Yuko. Y'all don't know about what Yuko's got going on, because Yuko's already a part of this. Like, we've already read the fact that Yuko got the alternative 4 bid. Yuko's setting everything up. Yuko fucking pulled Marimo from the front lines. We read that on the little timeline when we were selecting chapters and whatnot. Alright, we know that Yuko's already involved in this. And yo, when fucking Mrs. 1497 steps ahead of you is fucking doing what she do best, like, ain't nothing you gonna do. Ain't nothing you can do. We saw an alternative how easily she can fucking cover shit up. Y'all ain't got nothing. Y'all ain't got nothing. But go ahead. Let's see what you got.
今は事故の調査と現場検証で保安部隊もそっちにかかりきりだからな。立てこも。しかも当事者の神宮寺は屋内待機。上層部の連中は陣頭指揮で現場に張り付いてる。やるならこのタイミングしかない。
Strike while the iron is hot. Kadano's being used. That newspaper connection of his wants to get a hold of a real scoop, even if staging the event itself is what it takes. The target is Death herself, the Continental Campaign's ace. The Morning Light has opposed the Continental Dispatch since the beginning because of Japan's complicated history with mainland Asia. For an opposition newspaper, this couldn't be any better of a story.
あんたたち本気なの？最悪の場合反逆罪よ。
それは違う。反逆罪があるとすれば教官だ。訓練校を私物化し、人権蹂躙を感化している。
俺らはそれを暴くんだ。これは三浦の弔い合戦だぜ。
でも
でも
そんなことをしても三浦は喜ばないんじゃない。
Damn.
だっけ？宮？
私も神宮寺は許せない。だけど藤沢だって
Facts.
そん
竹宮。
じゃなかったらあの子たち集権にあんな一生懸命にならなかったんじゃないかな。私爆発の前に データリンクのログで見たけど。
Albright turn. A sea-level combat maneuver where TSF maintains thrust and switches its vector by 180 degrees. They executed one of the most daring maneuvers we've only ever read about.
私とイズミに黙って二人でずっと練習してたんだよ。
Come to think of it, they never let Takamiya join them when they were studying together. Was this the reason?
神宮寺のことはなんか別の方法でなんとかできないのかな。
おい竹宮、お前あいつらはお前らに恩を返し。
いいんだ竹宮、俺たちは無理強いをする気はない。ただこれは三浦や藤沢だけの問題じゃない。俺たちは候補生からあんな目に遭うやつをもうそれだけは分かってくれ。
気持ちはわかるよ。
そんなことが言いたいんじゃないのは分かっているが、念のためお前が賛成しなかったことは記録。
いや私はい
いからそうしとけって。
狩野。
別に俺らは多数決で従わせたいわけじゃねえからな。全員自分で決めたんだ。だからお前の意思も尊重する。
ごめん狩野。
謝るところかよバ
ごめん。
お前の言う通り、もし藤沢が俺らの行動に反対だったらあいつのことだ。俺らとは絶対口も聞かなくなる。だからお前はその時のための保険だ。あいつがここに戻ってきた時のな。
狩野。
泉、お前はどうす
I'm
る？
gonna tell you to go fuck yourself.
いろいろ聞かせてもらって安心したわ。
お前もやめとくか。
いえ、行くわ。
さすが泉、やっぱただの優等生じゃねえな。
嬉しくないわね。
褒め言葉だぜ。お前黒幕の素質十分だって前々から思ってたんだ。
お前が賛同してくれるのは心強いよ泉。
待って佐久間、あんたたちは残って。
Yep.
はあ？何言ってんだよ泉。お前やっぱ反対なのかよ。
狩野、私が行くって言ってるのよ。
どういうことだ？説明してもら
Yeah,
えるか？
I'm handling this on my own, bitch.
向こうだってバカじゃないわ。反感買うことなんて計算済みでしょうね。さっき聞いたでしょ、私たちを排除するためにいるって。ガン首揃えてのこのこ出向けば危険分子としてその場で一網打尽もありえるわよ。
あのババアがそこまで俺らを買ってるとは思えねえな。どうせ何もできねえふぬけだって決めつけてやがんだろ。
相手は死神神宮寺よ。仮にあんたが言うように逃げ回って生き延びたんなら、なおさら最悪の事態には備えるでしょうね。
確かにな。
それにもともとあんたは行くべきじゃない。外部との連絡や裏ルートのコントロールを人任せにする気？
まあそう言われればそうだけどよ。
だが泉、正当性はこちらにある。最初からことを構える姿勢で臨むべきじゃないだろう。全分隊の代表である俺たちが揃ってこそ候補生の総意であることを示せるんじゃないのか。
They do not give a fuck.
佐久間、あんた何も学んでないわね。
Yeah, exactly.
結果が全てだっていう教官のあれ、正論。
だが
勝敗は準備で決まるのよ。ファーストストライクはスタートの合図に過ぎない。それにこれはもともと F 分隊の問題。私一人で行くのが流れ的にも一番自然で警戒されないはずだわ。
なるほど。
私の要求が拒絶されたら、その時こそあんたたちが動けばいい。
やっぱ泉は味方にすると頼りになるぜ。いいんじゃねえのかそれで。
確かに泉の言う通りだな。可能な限りリスク回避をしておくことは正しい。
We totally care about your demands and
三浦
whatnot.
たちの分隊長が差しでやるっつんだ。他の連中も納得すんだろ。しかも泉は神宮寺を一番上。
Yes, of course.
私そんなこと言ったかしら。
無理すんなよ優等生。あんだけ目の敵にされりゃ恨むのが普通だろ。
別に普通じゃないわ。
ま、出世狙ってるお前がそれを隠したいって気持ちはわかるぜ。
しかしその冷静さはさすがだな。こんな時でも動じないお前は本当にすごいよ。
そんなこと
正直なところ、俺たちかなり頭に血が上ってたよ。まったく。
念のため、ある程度時間が経ったら様子は見に行かせる。いいな。
Makes sense he'd come up with a way to ensure his plan works. He's got a handle on this way more than Sakuma. That's to be expected from someone who regularly deals with the underworld.
わかった。じゃあ早速動くわ。
頼んだぞ。俺たちも準備にかかろう。
おう。
泉、あんた。
わかってる、竹宮。調子合わせて手の内を聞き出しただけ。だから安心して。
じゃあ
三浦も藤沢も絶対あんなこと望んでない。
あんた一体どうするつもりなの？
大丈夫、私に考えがある。だからできる限りのバックアップ。
でも
打ち合わせしてる時間なんてない。こんな状況で後ろを任せられるのは。
泉、わかった。なんとかやってみる。
頼んだわよ。
It's time for the big moment. Let's go. I'm sorry, Takemiya. I lied to you.
それにして。
Who would have thought that my reputation as the instructor's #1 target would ever come in handy? Life's full of surprises. No guards. So the plot against the instructors was mere empty talk. Kadeno's connection is just a random idiot who blew things out of proportion. Your typical yellow journalist. He might be known for his connections to the underworld, but Kadeno is not a bad guy. More of a Robin Hood than a sheriff of Nottingham. Since he is always profiting from the rest of the cadets, perhaps his little rebellion is a way to ease his guilty conscience. In any case, this is a chance to use Kadeno's connections to do the right thing. It's obvious this newspaper reporter is taking advantage of his personal flaws. Anything for a story. His contact doesn't give a damn whether the plan succeeds or fails. As long as there is controversy surrounding Instructor Jinguji, Kadeno's friend is golden. So my task is to remove any sort of justification for Kadeno and Sakuma's uprising. Once the two heads of the conspiracy lay down their arms, the farce will end. No one really wants things to escalate that far anyway. Everyone is just going along to blow off some steam. In fact, I don't think Sakuma himself is particularly fond of the idea, even though he might pretend otherwise in front of Kadeno. But Kadeno will not let things go further. He's shrewd enough to know there's no profit to be made in antagonizing the upper brass by himself. That much is obvious from the way he acted when the contraband route was taken out. I'm the one at fault. My lack of leadership brought about this situation. However, there's one thing I can do to put an end to this predicament. I can mediate between the instructors and the cadets.
さて、どうしたものか。
The big moment. The cadets' actions may be morally justified, but that doesn't mean I can sit back and let this mess spiral out of control. Problem is, I can't think of any concrete measures to stop it from happening. If I fail to cut this insurrection short, my attempt to find common ground with Instructor Jinguji will have been a complete waste of time. I'll end up providing ammo for Kadeno's puppet masters. Mira's death and Fujisawa's injuries would have been for nothing. I can't let those vultures profit off from their pain. I won't let imbeciles like them interfere with my goals. I will never let them defile the place where I belong.
なんでそんなに冷静なのよ。なんで平気なわけ？なんか私があんたの立場。
しかし、その冷静さはさすがだな。
Cool-headed. Oh, she's speaking.
さすがよ。
As if they could have any idea what I'm feeling. How can they actually believe I'm not upset? I may not have deserved the position. I may not have deserved the position. It may have been a matter of convenience. Those two were my subordinates, and one of them died. Do they really think I'm going to show them exactly how I feel? That'll let everything bubble up to the surface? The others wear their heart in their sleeves. Why does that mean I have to do the same? Even if that's not the way they believe what they believe, that's how they want things to be. I'm not like them. Not at all. I'm not candid like them. I can't just say what's on my mind. I'm not like that. We have obligations. We joined the army, for God's sake. This country needs people who are aware of their duties.
ダメだ。やっぱりかなり参ってるみたいだ。
Letting my frustration get the better of me. Pathetic. I'm well aware of my image. That's exactly why I'm acting like I do. I made the decision to act as a model cadet. No one forced my hand. So why am I getting angry at them and not at myself? Seems like I really am a horrible person.
でもある意味羨ましいわね。
To be able to see only what's in front of you. That sort of simple-mindedness. I wish I could be like them. My life would have been so much easier. Anger overcomes fear. The accident hit close to home for all of us. Instructor Jinguji fanned the flames of our anger to wake us from our stupor. Those are the facts. She believed we would overcome our predicament by uniting in hatred against a common enemy, herself. What's happening now only proves she was right. The effects, however, were far stronger than she anticipated.
いや、やはり想定内と見ておくべ
Yeah,
きか。
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Simple matter of cause and effect. She provokes us, and we join together to oppose her. She must have considered that riots could happen, the worst-case scenario, so to speak. But I shouldn't make light of how people are influenced by their emotions. I just had some first-hand experience, after all. Even I was overcome in a matter of minutes, despite the fact that I actively suppressed my emotional side. Seems the base's security level hasn't been increased. No matter how confident management appears to be, the lack of security could almost be called a dereliction of duty. The cadets will make the opening move. I'm sure the base won't be able to respond in time due to whatever they're planning to do. Assuming that's the case, even if the cadets overthrow security, they'll be hard-pressed to deal with their injured. That's probably what the higher-ups are expecting. Much to the delight of the Morning Light's reporters, the damage caused to our academy will make for gripping headlines. And I will lose the place where I belong.
やはり
This is the worst. I'm in the most literal sense of the word. The upper brass likely expects things to calm down once people start getting injured. But what if the riot itself isn't the endgame? If that's the case, there's only one thing they could be after. The expulsion of the person all cadets have resented since day one, Instructor Jinguji Marimo. The most hated person in this base. There must have been plenty of soldiers planning to use the cadets' anger to take revenge on her. Not to mention it would be the perfect chance to pay her back for disposing of the black market route. This is way bigger than Karino. It has to be.
今日更新聞はそこに無関係だと思いたいが。
Stop. You always have to assume the worst. Right now, I'm all that stands between Instructor Jinguji and the cadets. I need to forge a mutual understanding. To be honest, I want to run away. Miura is gone and Fujisawa straddles the line between life and death. All I want to do is look the other way, to find a hole I can crawl into. I need something to distract myself. Losing to my own emotions is out of the question. Now that I think about it, this has always been a bad habit of mine. I've been this way since the start. When I'm emotionally overwhelmed, I tend to retreat into my thoughts to try and keep myself under control. To feel better about myself, I always assume the worst and start working on countermeasures. And once I've confirmed that the worst case scenario did not come to pass, I can finally be at ease. I've been running away like this all my life. There's not much time left. 20 more minutes and the other squad leaders will come to check on me. I need to get some concrete results fast. The only way I could force Karino and Sakuma to back down is by getting an apology from Instructor Jinguji. Even a retraction would work. Anything less and the riot happens. Basically, I must present them her head on a platter. However, Instructor Jinguji won't do anything that undermines her position. She may have spoken in the heat of the moment and used emotionally charged language, but I don't see her simply taking her words back.
何よ、ここに来てだんまり。たっく。やめてよ。私が聞きたい。
まったく。あんたたちの言う通りだわ。
Instructor Jinguji is not someone I can convince with fancy rhetoric alone. That being the case, since we're destined to clash with each other, should it come down to that, I'll have no choice but to improvise. Now you're gonna get the shit beat out of you. I'll have to endure, just like when she tried to break me. Sadly for her, I have even more to fight for now. Merely restating the group's opinion won't do any good, even if my position is bolstered by the legitimacy that representing all of the squads bring. No, if I want to win, I must do so with my own words. I must speak of my regrets regarding Miura's passing, of my wishes for Fujisawa's recovery, of my innermost hopes. What was that? Is she punching something?
まさか。なんでよ。やめてよ。出ていけイスミ。入室を許可した覚えはないぞ。なんで。バカ者。出ていけと言ってるのが聞こえんのか。
Why? Tell me why.
泉貴様何のつもりかは知らんがいい
加減にするのはあんたの。
なんだと
あんたのよ。なんであんたが。
Oh god.
三浦が死んで藤沢が重傷を負って、あれだけのことを言ったあんたがなんで泣いてるのよ。あんただけは違うと思ってたのに。涙
Oh god. Damn, Ismi.
ふざけるな。あんたが証明してくれるんじゃなかったのか。あんたを手に入れたんじゃないのか。多くの命と引き換えに手に入れたんじゃないのか。
Yep.
だから貴様はここにいるべきではないんだ。公正不正が分かったようなことを。何かにすがった戦いしかできない奴が最も危険なんだ。貴様のような奴が多くの友を殺す。
She's talking about herself. God damn it. People who cling to their ideals, that's what she was all about. And then when she's saying it's people like you who kill their squad mates, she's also indirectly talking to herself as well.
貴様のような奴が罪を恐れて友を遠ざけるんだ。貴様のような奴が死に場所を求めて部下を巻き込むんだ。だったらここでして多くの命を奪う前に。
I was blacking out, barely conscious from all her blows. My face must have been beaten beyond recognition. There was something that shouldn't be there. I'm not talking about the blood that was running down my face. It's tears. Instructor Jinguji was crying, but she kept hitting me again and again. Hot streams of tears trickled down her face that hit me harder than any of her punches. She spewed out curses barely audible amidst her sobbing, yet the hits didn't stop coming. It's almost as if she was talking to someone else. Yup. It was only after being commissioned for some time that I understood the true meaning behind her words. Words that sounded almost like a confession. I knew I could block her punches if I tried, but I didn't. I took everything head on. Because if I didn't, Instructor Jinguji would have crumbled on the spot. It wasn't me she was facing, but rather her own past. Yep. Jinguji Marumo spent half her life atoning for the countless people who died on the battlefield, while she alone survived. Looking back, I can't help but think this way. In a sense, maybe Instructor Jinguji saw her former self in me. Maybe that's why she was so hard on me all the time. You're suited for politics, not for the military. Don't repeat my mistakes. You're not that strong. I didn't understand back then, but today I finally realized the meaning behind her words. And now we cut back to the fucking... what the fuck is it? Why can I not remember what the fucking operation... Isn't it 1226? No, there was a name for it. Name for the operation, where Isami died. It was more than just 1226, right? Because 12-6 was the coup. No, there was a name for it. Fuck it, doesn't matter. Instructor Jinguji had fallen, her face on my chest, choking on her own snot and tears. It was the last thing I saw before I lost consciousness. What was real and what was my mind playing tricks on me? To this day, I still don't know. Why did her tears upset me so much? Back then, I had no idea. However, it did not leave empty-handed. Thanks to my actions, I managed to prevent us cadets from being dismissed. It's unbelievable when you think about it. A cool-headed stickler for the rules like myself risked a summary dismissal from the army by attacking an instructor. To make matters worse, my sparring partner was none other than Jinguji Death Marumo. I remember myself fainting, losing consciousness and bleeding all over the floor. I remember her straddling me, still crying as she beat my face into a pulp. The scene was bizarre, enough to make those who witnessed it shudder in terror. The cadets completely lost their drive for vengeance then and there, and really, who could blame them? For someone like me who prides herself on always acting in the most logical and efficient manner, the result was quite ironic. By disregarding all of the cadets' demands and losing my composure as soon as I encountered the first obstacle, I solved this crisis. Now that I think about it, this whole affair was a huge turning point for me. Something unexpected came to light after the Board of Inquiry examined the remains of Mira's TSF. The inspectors discovered Mira and Fujisawa had taken certain measures to ensure they could execute such a bold sea-level maneuver. Speaking concretely, they disabled the TSF's limiter and crew safety systems. To conceal their actions, they fed fake information to the observers by deploying a virus on the network overseeing the exercise. That's why Instructor Jinguji didn't catch them cheating beforehand, and why Instructor Nirasawa wasn't able to take control of Mira's TSF. All this was considered highly confidential information, nothing mere cadets like us would ever be told about. Karino, however, was somehow able to access the network and extract the information in real time. In the face of the final examination, all Mira and Fujisawa cared about was achieving our goals. How legitimate the means used was never a concern. There we go. Testimony from support staff drove that point home. Fujisawa had won the mechanics to her side, which made the fact that she was in cahoots with Mira crystal clear. But even if no witnesses had come forward, the upper brass should have already been aware of their culpability. The data link was tampered with, but there was no need for further analysis. It would have been obvious to headquarters something abnormal was going on just by reading the logs of the external observation monitor. Perhaps Instructor Jinguji knew. Back when she berated Fujisawa and Mira in front of us, maybe she knew the extent of their deceit. In any case, the truth of this accident changed everything. What the investigation brought to light would have led to the academy closing down under normal circumstances. And yet, no one was punished for anything that went down. Even I, who assaulted a superior officer, suffered no retaliation. Several days after ordering all cadets to remain on standby, the Board of Inquiry announced its final verdict. Mira's death was determined to be the result of an unfortunate training accident. And just like that, our daily life full of pain returned, like nothing had ever happened. Well, that's not quite accurate. For where my life was once a bad dream, now it had become a full-blown nightmare. Maybe it was in response to the accident, but the instructors had become harsher than ever. And then 2 days later, I found out why Mira and Fujisawa had decided to bend the rules.
おい竹宮、お前あいつらはお前らに恩を返し
She couldn't get Karino's words out of her head. Ever since the accident, Takamiya, who continued to wither away before my eyes, had tried to find out why Mira and Fujisawa decided to cheat. She found a clue in what Karino had said before, and after confronting him and getting his cooperation, she finally got a hold of one particular mechanic who was involved in Mira's plot. Takamiya made him talk, and found out what Mira and Fujisawa had said. Her own beliefs, her hatred for Instructor Jinguji, her wish for atonement. What was behind her single-minded pursuit of the truth? I wonder if she even knew herself, because I most certainly don't. But I'll never forget Takamiya's face, drained of all vigor, as she told me what had been on their minds. Our performance is bringing the whole squad down. Takamiya and Isumi have a promising future ahead of them. We don't want to ruin it. We don't want to get in the way of their dreams. We want to repay their kindness. We want to give them a chance to beat Jinguji. That's how Mira and Fujisawa justified themselves. In other words, they broke the rules for our sake. I can reach no other conclusion. To pay us back, Mira racked her brains, and Fujisawa made use of the underground connection she once renounced.
私なんで気づいてあげられなかったんだろう
In one sense, that maintenance soldier's testimony saved us. In another, it was a cruel and unexpected blow. Takamiya had felt responsible for the accident's outcome since the beginning. After learning about their motivation, she kept on blaming herself more and more. Yeah. Not a trace remained of the woman who was once loved by everyone. Takamiya's cheerful personality was long gone. 5 days later, she left the school. Fujisawa escaped death and left the hospital 6 months later. Considering the mental and physical trauma she had to go through, it came as no surprise she was in no condition to return to service pilot training, and was granted a DOR. I haven't gotten in touch with either of them since.
任官おめでとうございます、少尉殿。
神宮寺軍曹、貴様の教練に心から感謝する。
は、妨害のお言葉、身に余る光栄です。
私はあなたを一生忘れない。
存じております、少尉殿。あなたはおやめください。私は下士官です。
Yeah, go back to present day. Or what was the present day. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. My plan was supposed to lead us to victory. Instead, Mira died and Fujisawa was left in a coma. The worst part is that, as harsh as it sounds, they had no one to blame but themselves. I can't begin to imagine how unbearable this must have been for Takamiya. All she wanted was to see us be commissioned together. I wish that would never come true. If there had been no accident, Mira's and Fujisawa's standing in the class would have changed drastically. The rest of the class would have been in awe of their wit and bravery. The fact that they cheated wouldn't have mattered. They would have been praised them for their grit and determination. The result alone would have been sufficient for the upper brass to look the other way. Because in a real fight, winning is all that matters. Mira and Fujisawa sought to lead us to victory by making use of the environment and the scarce resources we were given, to release us from the deadlock we were in. I used to think Mira was just a good girl and that Fujisawa was empty inside. Covering her vacuousness with sarcasm, I thought that's all there was to them. Now I know I was blind all along. If they'd been commissioned, it's very likely their talents would have blossomed. Not to mention the matter of having performed a sea-level Albright turn before becoming a full-fledged pilot, shooting down Instructor Jinguji in the process. Both would have become legends, I'm sure. However, glory was not what fate had in store for them. Their individual abilities did not catch up to their ambitions, not at that time. In the end, what happened was my fault as well. I should have accounted for their skill level and adjusted our tactics accordingly. We could have avoided a crisis by going after our targets with maximum efficiency. That was the commander's duty, and I failed. I killed Mira. I maimed Fujisawa. Takamiya had no reason to blame herself. What happened back then was that I failed to realize Mira and Fujisawa were planning to cheat. Why wasn't I questioned personally? Why were there no questions about the accident itself? It seems so obvious now. Back in those days, that was the Empire's last chance to properly train new surface pilots. Even then, the signs of our impending defeat were obvious to all who wanted to see. Given our lack of internal resources and the situation on the continent, it was a fact that could no longer be ignored. In that perpetual state of emergency, the government had no time to worry about appearances. The former Sakaki administration foresaw the current state of affairs years ago, chose to prioritize a different set of goals, their own. Japan had been on the verge of collapse for several years. The ruling party knew. That's why they chose to train their successors, men and women, who would be prepared for the day Japan falls. Military service was where new prospects were groomed, where the political leadership and the upper brass sought to mold young men and women into the leaders of tomorrow. I only realized the implications of this policy after I assumed command of my own unit. We were incorporated into the United Nations forces, where we became the special task force for a secret international plan. That's when it finally dawned on me why they imposed such a harsh training regimen on us. And several months later, I had all the answers. Thinking about it, it made sense. We couldn't grasp what loss is like until we've experienced it for ourselves. I was appointed as a squad leader early on, but I wasn't able to understand what it meant to be a commander until I'd gone through losing a subordinate. After being commissioned, the accident lingered on my mind, tormenting me every day. It also taught me in a way that I would never forget how important the proper allocation of roles within a team is. Takamiya and I were among the best of all cadets, while Mira and Fujisawa constantly had subpar grades. I had wondered why we were assigned to the same squad for a long time. The answer was there all along. It was so we could learn from each other. The idea being when someone as dogmatic as me and someone as zealous as Takamiya were paired with people who weren't on the same level as us, we would be forced to make things work somehow. Talk about missing the forest for the trees. As commander, a commander is not necessarily supposed to be better than their subordinates. What a commander is supposed to do is to assign the right role to each member, taking them to the next stage of their personal growth. Back in my time at the academy, the other cadets seemed childish to me. I looked down on them, put a distance between us, and forced the others to follow the rules with no room for discussion. Takamiya changed everything. Her zeal slowly got to me, and the same goes for Fujisawa's caustic little quips and Mira's mistakes. I got emotional and clashed with them. In doing so, my real self was laid bare. Little by little, my facade crumbled. That I would end up dropping all pretense was just a matter of time. As we grew to understand each other, I could assign them to the roles they were most suited for. That's when we truly started bonding. That's why Miura and Fujisawa must have tried to determine how they could release us from our impasse, to figure out how to beat one of the instructors. If only things had gone the other way. No, there's no point dwelling on what will never be. Back then, if I could have dropped all pretense from the start, if I could have just been myself all along, the worst might not have come to pass. My quiet personality, the short time we spent together, they're all just excuses. I know that pretending to be someone I'm not will only result in more blood on my hands. That's the lesson I learned. The reason I never left anything to chance again. I think people had to lose their lives for me to understand something so simple. My life will end in a matter of minutes. What point is there in dwelling on the wounds of the past? Perhaps there is one. Perhaps this is a confession of my own sins. I guess the past will keep haunting me no matter how close to death I am. Instructor Jinguji must have felt like this too. It took me until this moment to notice. You guys made me realize something so important. That's why, now... I'm an idiot. Really, a hopeless idiot. Yayoi wasn't the one who didn't understand me. Same goes for Takamiya, Fujisawa, Miura, or Marika and Akira. The one who truly didn't understand me was myself. Trying to make us work together as a well-oiled machine so that the group could become something more than the sum of its parts. That was the duty Sergeant Jinguji was entrusted with in training school. And in the Isumi family, it was the task entrusted to Yayoi. What I wanted wasn't to become a leader, or to inherit the role of the firstborn daughter. What I wanted to become was Yayoi. Thinking about it, it was all too obvious. The real reason why I admired Instructor Jinguji so much is because she resembled Yayoi. Why did I feel such intense anger toward her when I saw her grieving? I didn't know then, but now I'm finally aware of the reason. It wasn't that I felt betrayed. It wasn't me being disappointed either. Instructor Jinguji played the thankless role of the bad guy to perfection. For that, I put her on a pedestal. Day after day, I measured myself against her. So when Miura died, I assumed her pain must have been eased by her unwavering sense of duty. From my perspective, she had long stopped being a person. Instead, she had turned into an ideal, to what I aspired to be. I never expected to see her weeping right before my eyes. That's when it dawned on me. Instructor Jinguji wasn't anything like me. She was just like Yayoi instead. And much like Instructor Jinguji had been playing her role, so had Yayoi. Maybe she simply had to act like the eldest daughter. No, that's definitely it. In the end, I never really tried to look at people beyond what's on the surface. That's what led me to look down on my squad mates as well. Maybe I had been relying on Yayoi all along, because I could never become the eldest daughter. I could do what would be unthinkable for her. But perhaps she was able to play her role, to mediate between us precisely because I was never content.
Fujisawaの言葉じゃないけど、あんたみたいに何でもできちゃう天才って、思ったようにパッとできない人間が抱える悔しさとか。だからね、私が憧れちゃったらさ、その人を少しでも助けてあげたいじゃん。
Aw, fuck. I learned how I'm supposed to behave through the interactions I had with my sisters. Problem was, I didn't try to adapt after I became a cadet. No doubt that's why Takamiya and the others rejected me so strongly at first. Getting along with my sisters was an easy task. I barely saw them, and when I did, it wasn't difficult to keep up the facade for a short while. Things don't work like that once you enlist. We're in each other's company 24/7. Anyone would be hard-pressed to endure my inquisitorial nature for so long. It's no wonder I thought Takamiya wasn't particularly noteworthy at first. She had one goal in mind, for us to be commissioned together. It was hard to notice, but she played the same role Yayoi did, back when all of us Izumi sisters were living together. Takamiya was a reassuring presence, one that would mellow my headstrong character. As for Fujisawa, she played my part, rebelling against the one person she couldn't stand. It was hard to bear to see how I once acted with my own eyes. And Mira, she was what connected us. She was the one who brought our squad together. It's thanks to them that I've made it this far. Thank you, Takamiya. Thank you, Mira. Thank you, Fujisawa. There's no way I could ever forget you. If I hadn't met you guys, I would have passed away still lying to myself. You gave me so much. Fuck. Yep.
さて、そろそろ最後の仕事だ。
God damn. Seems I'm still missing the forest for the trees. Never needed to dwell on the past. The answers were in front of me all along. Even serving under someone like me, my subordinates found their way. They never stopped looking forward. I'm sure they'll play their part. The best of the best, trained by a brave woman with a distinguished history of a military service. The son and daughters of Jinguji Marima. My subordinates were too good for me. It's time.
いすみだ。困難な任務ばかりであったが、今日までよく耐え、私についてきてくれた。
Yeah, it's weird seeing everyone drawn in this new art style. Akane looks pretty normal. Hayase looks really different. Munakata looks fine. Cosmo looks a lot more serious. Haruka looks pretty normal. Maya looks a bit weird. I don't like the way Chizuru looks kind of okay. They did her glasses kind of weird. Miki's so short I can't actually tell.
貴様たちは最高の英士であり、私の誇りだ。任務半ばで先立つことは甚だ遺憾であるが、貴様たちであれば安心して後を任せられる。私なき後も人類の勝利とオルタネイティブ4完遂に向け、これまで以上。早瀬、部隊の指揮は貴様に任せる。よろしく頼むぞ。
はい、お任せください。
部下をしごくのもほどほどにな。
はい、お世話になりました。あの世は退屈でしょうが、
余計な心配はするな。向こうには柏木たちもいる。
はい。
貴様たちは急がなくていい。神宮寺軍曹の言葉。
はい。
鈴宮。
はい。
部隊を頼む。戦場でも後方でも。
はい。
早瀬をうまく扱えるのはお前だけだ。しっかりやれ。
いすみたい。
宗方、副隊長として早瀬をサポートしろ。
はい。
次に早瀬をからかう時にはよく考えた方がいいぞ。
了解しました。十分に気をつけてからかいます。大尉の部下であれたこと、いすみバルキリーズの一員であれたことを。
風間、早瀬と宗方の間をうまく取り持って。
はい。
貴様との約束。
大尉。
手配だけはしてある。他の誰かと行くといいだろう。
大尉。
新任どもをくれぐれもよろしく頼んだぞ。
はい、大尉。
God damn it, I hate having to relive this moment.
鈴宮、
Why they gotta drag it out like this?
貴様の能力は決して
大尉。
だが、思い込みにとらわれ自分で自分を追い込む癖が。貴様が全てを背負い込む必要はない。姉さんを早く安心させてやれ。
はい、大尉。
榊、
はい。
貴様はもう少し肩の力を抜くことを覚えろ。それは英士としてだけではなく、貴様を見ていると昔の自分を思い出す。私と同じ鉄を踏まないようにな。要領よくやれ。
大尉、短い間でしたが。
I hate fucking having to see all this again.
鎧、
はい。
Mikoto looks okay in this new art style.
貴様の明るさは舞台の財産だ。
ありがとうございます。
ただ普段の貴様はマイペースすぎる。
はい、
同じポジションの風間からいろいろなことを学べ。
大尉。
早峰、貴様は一見冷静に見えるが、貴様はそれを見せることが人がお互いに理解を深めるには本音や内面をさらけ出すこと。
I get it though. The main reason they're showing all these fucking goodbyes again is to show how what we just saw in Isumi's story affected the advice that the final advice she gave to everyone.
人に頼るのも頼られるのも、
はい、
感情をコントロールできることは素晴らしいスキルだ。
大尉。
玉瀬、
Yeah, now Miki still looks adorable.
他人を思いやり何よりも和を重んじる貴様は、だが貴様は他人を気にするあまり、貴様は少しわがままを言うくらいでちょうどいい。あるがままの自分を相手に認めてもらえば。三剣、貴様に言いたいことはさっき散々伝えた。
はい、常に斧が戒めとします。
Yeah, now fucking Mei looks mad goofy in this art style. Not even gonna lie.
よし。では、
はい。
私にはとてもよくできた姉がいてな。明るくおおらかな姉にコンプレックスを抱いていた私は、彼女とは心に距離を置き、今思い返すと、あの頃の私は私でいいんだということに気づいて、つまらない話を聞かせてしまったな。
大尉。
白金、
はい、
せっかく貴様に教えてもらった温泉作戦、
大尉。
その代わり貴様は必ずあの命令を遂行しろ。
必ず。
よし、あとは。
はい。
以上だ。
Fuck. It's over. It's over. The last time I'll act as a squad commander. God damn it! I did the best I could with the oh shit, I taught them all I knew. The future is theirs to create now. It's auto-scrolling, I wasn't aware. As A01's leader, as the one who has to carry out the will of my former squad mates, all that's left is to take care of my final duty.
私はあなたのようになれましたか？ねえさあ、私姉さんのように上手にやれたら。みんな、私今度はうまくやれたかな。よかった。よかった。
Bruh, god damn it. This is the same song that plays during Maya's death in Alternative. I only recognize it because it's the fucking outro song I use in my videos during like sad moments.
やっとあんたに向き
Fuck, it's probably gonna be the outro song I use on this video.
自分の気持ちに正直に
God damn it.
好きよ、まさき。あんたが大好き。お願い、姉さんを、妹たちをお願い。私は大丈夫だって、すごく幸せだから。こんな世界だけど、こんなに苦しくて辛い世界だけど、私にとってはまさきが生きているだけで完璧なの。だから怒られるかもしれないけど、まさきより先に逃げてよかったって思ってる。私、まさきを見送るなんて絶対耐えられないから。これはね、ずっと覚えていてねっていう最後のわがまま。私のわがままはもう慣れっこでしょ。私もう行かなきゃ。
God damn. I take it that's one of the CGs from... I wish I could see the cherry blossoms bloom this time. Yep, that was her final line. But I take it that CG is either one from her original visual novel or one based on her ending from her original visual novel. God damn it. Yeah, that was fucking awesome. That was easily my favorite story in this fucking game. That was done so incredibly well. That was a very well done story. Expanding on a moment that was, you know, very shortly mentioned in the in alternative, but how much they expanded on it too, like how much the build up to everything, and how in the end they connected like all the build up to that one moment that was mentioned, and everything. Full Metal Monimo, that's the name of the achievement, of course it is. But how everything, you know, then connected, everything that happened leading up to that moment then connected to the advice she gave back to the rest of the Valkyries in her final moments. That's easily my fucking favorite story out of this entire thing, not just on the alternative side, out of all of it. This was very well done. I really enjoyed it. After like the fucking weird kind of like really short story that was Rain Dancers, that really didn't feel like it had anything to it, like this fucking hit. This fucking hit for sure. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video as well as this recording session. In the next recording session, I'm assuming we'll finish Photon Flowers. There's 2 chapters in the alternative side left. There's Chicken Dancers, I believe is the 4th one, and then Inheritance, which is the one that focuses on Isumi's sister Akira. And, you know, I don't know. Like, Rain Dancers was like 50 minutes long, and fucking Confessions here was fucking 6 hours long. So, who knows? But either I'll finish it in the next one, or I'll get really close to finishing it. Either way. But like I said, gonna end this recording session here, and obviously gonna end this video here. Thank you to anyone watching. It's all much appreciated. And I'll see you in the next recording session. Till then, peace.